Hi everyone. In this video I just want to say a few words about the director James Foley, who sadly passed away this week at the age of 71. Here he is on the set of the 1996 film Fear, starring Mark Wahlberg. You can see him here with producer Brian Grazer, and there's Mark Wahlberg. Two big names I think you can associate with James Foley. One is Madonna, because James Foley was certainly with her at the start of her meteoric rise to fame. He was involved in doing music videos for her, as well as doing a feature film. I'll come on to that. And then the other big name that I think is associated with him is David Mamet. And again, more on that later. Certainly a director with a strong visual style, and the best of his films really have themes of lies and deception, psychological drama that involve maybe family members or businessmen or criminals. So certainly some intensity to his films, and he worked with a wide range of actors as well and really showcased those actors. So often a lot of his films are filmed in close-up on the actors' faces. They need to be strong actors to appear in his films. Now, his first film as a director from 1984 is a film called Reckless. Not that well known nowadays. I haven't seen it. It is on YouTube. But there's a few interesting things about it. Now, the main storyline on this one concerns a motorbiker from a poor background who gets involved with a well-to-do cheerleader at high school. And the cast in this includes Aidan Quinn making his film debut, and Daryl Hannah. But a few other interesting things. So this film also marks the screenwriting debut of a certain Chris Columbus. Now, Chris Columbus went on with his next films as a screenwriter to do these two back-to-back, Gremlins and The Goonies. And Chris Columbus has certainly become a huge figure in Hollywood as a writer, a director, and a producer. He directed Home Alone, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Still working very strongly in Hollywood today. As I say, this was also Aidan Quinn's film debut, and interestingly enough, with the Madonna theme, it was actually his next film ended up being Desperately Seeking Susan, alongside Madonna in her feature film debut, and Rosanna Arquette. And there's Aidan Quinn there. But yeah, Aidan Quinn, certainly an actor I went on to really enjoy in films such as Legends of the Fall, The Playboys, opposite Robin Wright, Blink, alongside Madeleine Stowe, and this great movie which is still unavailable on DVD or Blu-ray, which is Hector Babenco's At Play in the Fields of the Lord. And the other Reckless co-star, Daryl Hannah, well, it was a big year for her in 1984 because she broke out as well in Splash alongside Tom Hanks. And not only that, but he had Michael Ballhaus as his cinematographer on his very first film, Michael Ballhaus, working famously with Martin Scorsese. So whilst Reckless might have been a low-key start for James Foley, he was still busy working with Madonna on her Like a Virgin tour, the Dress You Up video, and Madonna at this time was also in a relationship with Sean Penn, and that led to his next film, 1986's At Close Range, a really intense, slow-burn drama, this one, based on actual events, starring Sean Penn alongside the great Christopher Walken, and we also get the very beautiful Mary Stuart Masterson in this as well. And quite a key film for a number of other actors early on in their career. We've got Kiefer Sutherland, Crispin Glover, and Christopher Penn in this as well. This is about two young men who idolise their criminal father without quite realising just how murderous he can be. Very intense film, this one, and quite stylishly directed. Madonna's song Live to Tell features quite heavily in At Close Range, and at that time she was launching her True Blue album, and James Foley continued working with her. He did the music videos for True Blue, Live to Tell, and Papa Don't Preach. But then it was time for Madonna to get back in front of the cameras for another film, and James Foley perhaps got involved unwisely on this one, which was Who's That Girl? A real critical failure, this one. It was supposed to be a screwball comedy, but just very unfunny, unfortunately. And this one had her co-starring with Griffin Dunn, who had been in Martin Scorsese's After Hours with, yes, that cinematographer again, Malcolm Ballhaus, who had worked on Reckless. Yeah, unfortunately, this was painfully unfunny. It didn't really work well at all. And that's despite having a script that was co-written by Ken Finkelman, who had worked on Airplane 2, the sequel. Surely I can't be serious. Yes, I can, and don't call me Shirley. But yeah, this just unfortunately was not a good movie. So after getting over that experience, James Foley thankfully returned to the themes of lies and deception and worked on another intense, brooding, psychological drama, quite noirish in tone. And that was this one from 1990, After Dark, My Sweet, starring Jason Patric, Rachel Ward and Bruce Dern. And this is based on a novel by Jim Thompson. Jim Thompson had been a screenwriter for Stanley Kubrick on Paths of Glory and The Killing, but he'd been a novelist doing other works such as The Getaway and The Killer Inside Me. Again, pretty stylishly directed, this one. Again, it's quite a slow burn drama, a bit like At Close Range, but intense performances. Good stuff here from Jason Patric, Rachel Ward and Bruce Dern. Yeah, definitely worth watching. Then in 1992, we get to the film that's perhaps his biggest critical success. Absolutely fantastic film, this, and it's an adaptation of David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross. Superb film, this, and it has an absolutely powerhouse cast here that includes Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey, Alec Baldwin and Alan Arkin. Yeah, phenomenal film, this. It did vary a little bit from the actual original play by including this extra scene that was specially written for Alec Baldwin, and wow, what a scene it is. It really blows you away when he comes on screen to do his monologue. And you think of tough actors such as Al Pacino and Ed Harris, but wow, Alec Baldwin just makes them feel so small when he comes on and just destroys them with his monologue. A nice Laserdisc edition as well, which includes inside it a copy of the actual play. Now, another interesting thing about Glengarry Glen Ross, all right, you might think, okay, well, really the success of this film is because of the strength of David Mamet's script and also the strength of its cast. But James Foley does deserve credit here as well. Now, the cinematographer that he uses on this is Juan Ruiz Anchia, and he'd been using Juan Ruiz Anchia on his previous films, starting with At Close Range. By coincidence, Juan Ruiz Anchia is also the cinematographer of choice for David Mamet. So when David Mamet had adapted his own productions with House of Games, Things Change and Spartan, he used the same cinematographer. Now, in 1995, it seemed that James Foley was hoping that he could repeat the success of working with Al Pacino because he worked with him again on a film called Two Bits, and this also had a narration role for Alec Baldwin. But sadly, that film has not really been that successful, and I don't think it's really widely known nowadays. It did have a script on it by Joseph Stefano, who had been the scriptwriter for Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, as well as doing Eye of the Cat. But 1996 definitely turned out to be a better year for him at the box office. First up came this gripping thriller, which was Fear. And this one marked the leading role debut for Mark Wahlberg. He previously had a small role in The Basketball Diaries. And yeah, he stars here alongside a young Reese Witherspoon, and then co-starring here we've got Alyssa Milano, William Peterson and Amy Brenneman, who had been in Heat as well. So yeah, quite a nasty-minded kind of thriller, this one. Touches of Fatal Attraction, touches of Home Invasion, like Straw Dogs at the end. But yeah, it's all quite stylish and it's all quite gripping, just quite absurd. But yeah, quite good fun. Now, interestingly, the home that is the family home that is shown in this film, a waterfront property, very extravagant looking, that's actually filmed in Lions Bay, which is just north of Vancouver here. So yeah, great location. And I'll just briefly show you the press kit that came out when this film was released. So with press kits, you get little booklets that give you information about the film itself, all about the cast and the crew. You also get production information, so information about all the cast and crew that were involved in the production. And then a set of stills. So like I say, here's James Foley again, Mark Wahlberg alongside William Peterson, and then William Peterson with Amy Brenneman. Reese Witherspoon and Alyssa Milano. And there he is again, Mark Wahlberg with Reese Witherspoon. And also in 1996, John Grisham adaptations were still all the rage, and he did The Chamber, this one starring Gene Hackman and Chris O'Donnell. And in 1999, perhaps with mixed success, he worked with Mark Wahlberg again on the film The Corruptor, and this one co-starring Chow Yun-fat. And really this film was designed to promote Chow Yun-fat a bit more to American audiences, a great actor who had been in films such as John Woo's Hard Boiled and The Killer, and also Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So yeah, there were films such as The Corruptor, The Replacement Killers, and even Anna and the King with Jodie Foster. But yeah, not the high points of Chow Yun-fat's career. 2003, back to another film about lies and deception, and this one with an all-star cast. This is Confidence, a kind of modern spin, if you like, on the Sting type theme. But yeah, this one starring Edward Burns, Rachel Weisz, Andy Garcia, Dustin Hoffman, Paul Giamatti. So yeah, quite a great cast in this one. The story is a bit convoluted, but certainly, again, Foley's direction is quite stylish. He keeps it quite visually interesting. Madonna's still on the scene as well, because her song Erotica is used in this. 2007, he does another thriller, and this one not a great success. This was Perfect Stranger, starring Halle Berry and Bruce Willis. Fast forward now to 2013, a very interesting time. Netflix is trying to deliver original content for its streaming platform and really make its mark. And David Fincher came on the scene with the show House of Cards, a huge hit for Netflix, starring Kevin Spacey. So David Fincher, really the mastermind behind it, and he directed the first 2 episodes. But James Foley actually directed episode 3, as well as 11 other episodes of House of Cards. So yeah, a significant moment for him, because House of Cards has been a huge show for Netflix. Don't really want to end on a down note, but it has to be said, his final films that came in 2017 and 2018 were both sequels to 50 Shades of Grey. So yes, he did direct 50 Shades Darker and 50 Shades Freed. That was his final film. But yeah, definitely for me, At Close Range, After Dark My Sweet, and Glengarry Glen Ross, those are the big ones from James Foley's career. And it had me thinking as well, I do think that there's another director who has had a possibly similar trajectory as James Foley, and that's director Phil Joannou. So what I mean by that is, so James Foley started off with a big music star, which was Madonna. Phil Joannou started off with a big band, and that was U2, so he was doing music videos for them and then getting involved in film. Both directors worked with Sean Penn, so James Foley had At Close Range, and Phil Joannou had State of Grace, a very intense one. That one also featured Ed Harris, who had been in Glengarry Glen Ross, and also both directors have worked with Alec Baldwin. So again, Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross, and then Phil Joannou directed Alec Baldwin and Mary Stuart Masterson from At Close Range in Heaven's Prisoners. And interestingly, on that film, Heaven's Prisoners, the cinematographer was Harris Savides, and Harris Savides has done a lot of music videos for Madonna. So there we go. That is a roundup of the films of James Foley. Sad that he has passed away aged 71. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments on any of this. And thanks very much for joining me on this video. All the best to you. Bye-bye.